All right, so again, thanks so much for doing this. First questions first. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the disability community.
Hi. Well, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm really excited to get to chat with you. I was so excited to receive your invitation. Um, I've been working in the disability community for a long time. How I decided this was going to be what I was doing for the rest of my life, um, was in probably my early 20s. That time I was working in the theater and I was teaching theater classes, and I kept working with kids with autism and intellectual disabilities and different disabilities. And I really enjoyed seeing the power of theater, the power of friendship and connection in those opportunities. And then from there, I became a special education teacher and taught for several years. And then I went back to grad school, and now I'm going to be a disability researcher. And I
Oh, that
am.
that oh, that's nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about your work in the disability community, because I understand you work in AAC, augmentative assistive communication.
Yeah, so I do research in alternative and augmentative communication, AAC. I mostly focus on people with autism and with intellectual disabilities, um, or a mix of both. My research is focused on literacy and communication skills for that population, for those folks, but then also for training parents, training job sites would be a future research that I want to do to be able to communicate and include these people in a meaningful way
Mm-hmm.
in communities.
Mm-hmm. So what kinds of stakeholders do you work with in the community for your particular kind of work? Any nonprofit organizations, anybody, like students that you work with, because you work in AAC, so I would imagine that would be the case. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so right now I'm doing a community partner and participatory research project, and my research team consists of people with lived experience. So Jordan Zimmerman, Grant Blasco, they're both my co-researchers, as well as, and Derica Sue, and then as well as teachers and researchers. Derica is also a researcher, and Melissa Perrett is a special education teacher and assistive technology teacher. And so those people, we came together as a team, and they helped me design this whole study that we're doing right now, where we're interviewing AAC users about their experiences in school and transitioning to adulthood. So co-designing and working with those stakeholders was a really awesome experience. It added so much richness and meaning to the study itself than if
Mm,
I would have just gone in there and researched the topic on my own
yeah,
without
that's nice. So, what sorts of, I know I forgot to write this in the questions, but like, what sorts of methods or approaches do you use to like really work with your students in AAC? Because I know that you said you're doing a study, so like what goes into that? I'm assuming, yeah.
So far in my work in this area, the current study is we're interviewing people about their experiences and seeing when did they get AAC that worked for them? Do they think they have that AAC now? Um, how are they communicating? How was it graduating high school and getting a job or going to university or going into a day program? That's what some of our participants have done. Um, how was that experience for them? And then telling those stories collectively and looking for patterns, and hopefully we can have suggestions to special education teachers and regional centers of these are resources that these people need. And then eventually we hope to do a training for employers and transition people to know how to use AAC and destigmatize AAC use with people going on the job market. So that would be a future project. I've also done some training where we trained parents using online modules that already existed to use the AAC with little kids at home.
Mm-hmm. That's great. What impact does your work have on the disability community? Doing this kind of work, how has that sort of had an impact on you, but also on the greater disability community?
It has impacted me a lot, very deeply. How has it impacted the whole community? I hope in a positive way. My aim is to help facilitate inclusion and empower people with the lived experience to be at the front lines. That's the aim of my research at the end of the day. And allow them to have the center stage and say what supports do they need, what do they want their life to look like, and how can we get them there through communication and literacy training
Mm-hmm.
and teaching.
Yeah. Lastly, what can other people take away from this conversation? In other words, how can people sort of make a di how can people sort of make a difference in their communities and create change, I guess?
I think the easiest way would be if you see someone in your community, in your class or in your group that has a different way of communicating or is wiggling around and doing a lot of different sensory things, to invite them over, to befriend them. If you're a business or employer, if you have someone who's interviewing and is using an iPad to communicate, give them a chance, hire them. For researchers, do research with people who have disabilities. That's what I would hope the big takeaway would be
Mm-hmm.
from my work.
Yeah.